is a Yardeni. It is from the LockpickingLawyer. It's a copy of a multi-lock. It's a 6-pin. Let me go ahead and get this thing clamped up so we can get it picked. But it's a 6-pin. It is not pin in pin. I'll show you the key so you know how to tell in just a minute. There we go. That ought to be good enough. Anyway, the key, this is what it looks like. We got a couple of tricks here. First of all, down inside of those little craters there, if it was pin in pin, you would see another pin sticking up, and of course we don't see that. One of the tricks on the Yardeni, though, is they take advantage of the warding. I've picked a few of these, and you'll notice we have the slits along both sides there. And that's because the pins, let me grab a pick here real quick to show you what I'm talking about. The pins kind of stick up between those two little pieces of warding. So sometimes if they're cut very high, and you're almost always guaranteed to have at least one that's cut really high, you've got to take your pick and kind of curve it and shove it up beyond that warding in order to get it picked. So can be quite a challenge. These are built to pretty good tolerances, but I really like them because they are excellent training locks if you're going to be picking multi-locks. So this is like learning how to pick the outer pins, and then later on, of course, you're going to move to the more advanced multi-lock, which has the inner pins. So once you pick the outer pins on a multi-lock, you're going to get a default set because then it hangs up on those inner pins. But on this one, this hopefully is just going to open. All right, I'm going to move this a little bit so maybe you can see a little better, because I'm going to pick it counterclockwise because it's easier to get tension that way. My hand's not hanging in your way. And I'm going to use the side of the warding here. I'm going to be using a standard flag. This is from my Sauber kit, and it's really designed for picking multi-locks. Let me zoom in just a little. Maybe you'll be able to see if there's any feedback here. These usually do have some security pins, usually in the form of spools or mushrooms. So let's find out. All right, it's got a little play in there, so take up the slack. And typical of picking most regular dimple locks, I'm going to use pretty heavy tension and slide it down and hopefully find a binder, and you'll hit it and it's like a speed bump, and I just hit it, so it feels like the first one. So I'll lighten up a little bit. Okay, it's either the first one or the third one. Okay, I lightened up a little more. He's still springing, so I'm going to tighten back up and move to the third one because he seems to be the real binder. And then just feel my way around. Once I pick him, then I'll start checking everybody else. Okay, I'm still on one now. He's binding for sure. So I'll get him picked. I got a minor click. I'm going to stop there before I go too far. And I think I just overpicked one. So let's try that again. Heavy tension. I'm back on one. So let's go ahead and go with him first. That was a solid click, but again, I think I might have overset him. Now I'm on 3. Okay, definitely not a security pin. That was 4. Okay, I'm going back to him. There we go. Give him another click because nobody else was binding up. And I went back to him again. So there's 2 clicks on him. All right, now I'm not getting any. Oh, there we go. 4 again. And nobody else. Let's see what we got here. I'm going to try to go back to 1. He's good, for sure. 2 is good. 3 is good. Where are you? Okay, I'm in the very back now on 6. And I just lightened up to let something fall. It was pin 4. I got a good fault set. That was pin 5. And again, I'm on pin 6, and he's back down again. So when I lightened up, it felt like 2 or 3 of them fell back down. I'm getting counter rotation on this guy. Got fault set still. Now pin 1, I can't get the pick out, so I'm going to pick him from behind. Slide him on the bottom, and he feels like a spool. Get a little bit of counter rotation there. I think you can see that. And there we go. All right, we got at least 2 spools, possibly 3 spools if pin number 1 is truly a spool. Let's see what we got in here. Let's open it up and take a look, see what the lockpicking lawyer has sent to us. I do not believe it was a challenge lock. He had a note. He didn't say anything about it being a challenge lock. So I doubt that it is. It picked pretty, I don't want to say easy, but I'm going to go and lock it back up since we do have a key. Because we had to pick it. I overset a couple of pins and I had to slack off to let them back down. And when I did that, of course, the rest of them came down too, it felt like. I had to repick them. So I don't think it's no serrated pins. I didn't feel any threaded chambers, and I have something new to show you. Get him up here. What a beautiful piece of work that is. That is another tray, pinning tray that's built, handmade by Stephen Zealous. I can't believe it. I am truly pinning tray rich at this point. This is beautiful. Made it out of walnut, and inset this little lock with Bosnianbill engraved. That's probably a lock I could never pick, probably a little bitty lever lock, but let's get back to this guy. It's got the rubber feet on the bottom. Pretty cool. What the heck was that? Alright, we just had this little disc fall out of the center. Did not see that, did not expect that, never seen that before. And I wonder, I bet I know what that's for. I bet it's to limit the key. Yep. Notice how the key kind of protrudes from the rear. So if it were to hit that disc and prevent how far it can go into the lock, it will work, and it started to come out there, you saw. So that's why that's there. It also blocks you to keep you from putting a wire through there and bypassing this lock. So ingenious. Alright, now if I can get this out again without pulling, there we go, we'll just turn him like that. And we will use a medium, and I'm going to try to turn this like so. I don't want any of those grooves to line up with the top pins, and I think that will do it. And I don't know which side the pins are going to fall out of, so let's just find out. We'll learn this together. Okay, there are the pins, so I guessed right. 50-50 chance. Okay, I had a pin pop out onto my finger there out of chamber number 6. And he is a standard. Alright, so pin 6, there we go. Pull this guy out. Alright, I don't see any weirdness, no grinding on the top of the cylinder, nothing obvious. We do have 2 anti-drill pins, one located near my thumbnail and then the other one up there on the top. I don't see any steel pins though, which is kind of unusual. But let's see what we got. We got a standard, and one of those little steel guys fell out. One from the top there. Usually those are pressed in to save the locksmith some trouble. And instead it looks like they pressed in pin number 2. There it is. Alright. Nope, that was pin number 3. 2 is still stuck in there. Isn't that odd? Well, let's dump the rest of them and then we'll figure it out. 4. 5. And try to get 2 now. There he is. Alright, let's take a look at the core. No threads, no countermilling, no nothing. And that would be because all of these are standard, which is kind of unusual. I'm not used to that, guys. I'm used to getting everything threaded and serrated. And let's see if we can mess with Bill's head. Alright, let's see what we got upstairs, though. Nothing unusual. We got a standard. There we go. We got a spool. Another standard. Got another spool. Another standard. And last, I bet that's a spool. Alternating. Yep, there we go. Another spool. So they alternated standard spool, standard spool. All right, let's see. I don't see anything protruding, so the springs are probably all the same. I believe this is probably just a standard lock. Yeah, these are all just... Trying not to mess up my new pinning tray by leaving dents in it, but I think they're all the same. These are just little standard springs, nothing unusual. And inside of here, let's take a quick look. I doubt there's anything in there. There's no serrated pins, so there's no reason to serrate anything inside of there either. And there's not. Those are all straight up cylinders. Here's what we're looking at, guys. It's just basically on the bottom, all the key pins are standards, and on the top pins we had standard spool, standard spool, standard spool. Nothing spectacular, but if you want to learn how to pick multi-locks, the Yardeni is a great place to start. It's good tolerances. You're going to get a challenge, and it's just like picking the outer pins of a multi-lock. So you get plenty of practice at that before you move on to the more complex and much more challenging multi-locks. Anyway, fellas, thanks for your time. Stay safe, stay legal. Lockpicking Lawyer, thank you for the Yardeni, sir. Appreciate it.